Around a few days ago, I made a video talking about the Switch 2, where I was very critical of the console, mainly because of the prices of the games, which are overkill. And of course, some Nintendo just has to defend it to the max. Meet Harman Smith. His content is very confusing to say the least. To be honest, I kinda see him as a Nintendo lol cow as well, but that is my opinion. And he decided to make a video titled "Gaming YouTubers are lying about the Nintendo Switch 2. Spoiler for you, Harman, they aren't lying. They are rightfully upset. But anyways, let's go with this video.
So I finally got back home after working like long, hard hours at my job.
I have to admit this, I really doubt you have a job, because in the week before that video alone, you made 12 videos, and it is very difficult to upload 12 videos in a week with a 9 to 5 job. So I have reason to believe that you are lying to make yourself look cool.
Unlike everyone else apparently, because everyone else was like sitting at home just watching Nintendo Directs complaining about like the console, even though like all of them are gonna buy it day one. It was embarrassing. It was cringy, okay?
I saw the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and I can already assure you that I won't buy the console day one. It just isn't worth it for me with that price. Since I think 90 bucks for a single Mario Kart game is just a shitty price. And I can already assure you, many people who saw the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct will most likely also not buy the console on day one. When a console, let alone a game, is that expensive like Mario Kart World, which costs 80 to 90 bucks, then it just isn't worth it for many people to buy it on day one. Then people will much rather wait until the console is on sale, or they will just not buy the console at all. Simple as that.
Like, let's be real here. The console is going to be successful. It is going to do well. Everything they showed off is going to sell a lot. Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 are going to coexist in harmony, right? Nintendo has won the console war.
Won the console war? Excuse me? While yes, the Nintendo Switch had sold a lot more units, it still doesn't mean that they won the console war. Not that I care about any kind of console war, since I am not 13. But let's analyze on how I see it when a console is winning a console war. Units sold are the last points that should be made. The most important things are the specs, and when it comes to the specs, Nintendo loses by a landslide. The Switch had pretty much the guts of a 2010s phone smashed into it. So when you would play a pretty big game like Batman Arkham Knight for example, it would stutter a lot, since the console wasn't built for that game. So when you say that Nintendo has won the console war just because of the amount of sold units, you just cannot be further from the truth.
Right, like, you know, I've been saying that for like years now, but like, it feels as if like the community is trying everything they possibly can to keep the discussion of the console negative, right? And they can't go after the games because they look great. They can't go after the hardware because it's great. Like, they can't even complain about the visuals anymore, right? So instead, they have to like, they've been doing this really weird thing where they just pretend to be upset at like things that aren't even true, right? Like the big one I noticed, right? The big one that really needs to be brought up is like the price point. You know, I was seeing people like say that like games were going to be sold for $90 or something.
Which is true. It was confirmed that Mario Kart World would cost 80 to 90 bucks. Same with that one Donkey Kong game. So in turn it would make sense that people would speak out against it. Because Nintendo would otherwise do the same thing with every other major IP game on their console. And since Donkey Kong and Mario Kart games are Nintendo exclusive games, people will pretty much be forced to pay those outrageous prices in order to play them. Which of course sparks a lot of anger in the community. And also, yes, people tended to mostly talk negatively about the Nintendo Switch. And that is because there weren't many positive things to talk about in the first place when it came to the Nintendo Switch.
Right, and then I actually looked into it. No. Like, they're being sold at a 70. You know, the typical retail, the typical industry standard today. Like, Mario Kart World is like a little bit more than that, I think, because it's a more elaborate game with like more specific features and stuff like that.
Okay, first of all, why don't you show any proof to back up your argument? That is actually one of my problems with Harman Smith. He makes such arguments and never backs them up with any screenshot evidence, which just leaves me with two options. Either one, you were too lazy to actually put a screenshot in there, or two, you were just lying, and because of that, your sources just trust me, bro. And also with that last point, you just contradicted yourself there. First you say that the games aren't sold for 80 to 90 bucks. And then you say Mario Kart World would be sold for more than 70, which again would go against your point. Those are the kind of things that make me wonder if you were even proofreading the script. Because trust me, if you would have proofread the script, that contradiction wouldn't have been there in the first place.
But like, yeah, Mario Kart World is more expensive than that, but that's like, you know, that's Mario Kart. It's a big deal for them, what have you.
That is once again a lie. Mario Kart is a spin-off of Super Mario, and nothing more.
So like, it wasn't a big deal at all, and yet you have all these millionaire YouTubers acting like Nintendo just shot their dog or something. Like, it was legit like the big defining cope after like this amazing direct.
Just a quick question. Are you dumb? Like, are you actually dumb? It wasn't only the big millionaire YouTubers who had a problem with the Switch 2, because Nintendo, in your words, have shot the dog with those prices. They are outrageous, and you have even confirmed yourself that they are that high. Now, if I personally had to choose if I would rather have enough money to spend for rent so I still have a house and can make myself some food, that I would rather do that than using it for a Switch 2.
Is like, you just have people who don't care about Nintendo at all. You know, people like Angry Joe or like Review Tech USA or like whoever, just sitting there trying to tell you that like, oh, I was excited for this, but the price point killed it for me. And like, the reality is, like, if you watch their reaction footage, which is up for anyone to watch, like, you can see Angry Joe just sitting there like, I can't do it at this angle. He's sitting there like this the entire time. He has like this camera right here, and he's like staring into it, and he's just like, no reaction, no smile. He doesn't even fucking talk. You know, he doesn't know any of these characters or the franchise, or like, he probably doesn't even know what like a Nintendo is.
He doesn't do very exaggerated reactions, because that is unfortunately what reactions have become over the years. And then coming around with the, he doesn't even know the characters. Bro, Nintendo are such a monolith. Anyone knows what the characters associated with Nintendo are. You are now just dissing some YouTubers for being negative to your senpai Nintendo, which means that you don't actually have an argument. You're just throwing ad hominems at them.
Honestly, like, the guy has reviewed 2 Nintendo Switch games in like its entire 8-year run, and yet he wants to sit there and lecture us about the price of the console.
So, just because he only reviewed 2 Nintendo Switch games, he shouldn't be talking about the prices of the Nintendo Switch 2? Please explain, where is the logic here? Everyone has the right to talk about what they don't like about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, but you cannot handle that for some reason. And also, please cut out that condescending attitude. It's getting annoying.
You know? Like, and like, you keep seeing these guys do this too, where like, they'll openly say that like, oh, I have a $3,000 gaming PC. I have a $600 Steam Deck. I have a PS5 Pro, but like, oh no, I can't pay $450 for a Nintendo Switch. That's underpowered. You know, like, it's so obviously fake and so obviously forced, you know, trying desperately, however they can, to keep the discussion of the console negative.
It is already a fact that the Switch was severely underpowered, so many people see more of a reason to buy a gaming PC or a Steam Deck. Yes, it is more expensive, but it has way more power than the Switch. And also, you saying that people try to forcibly keep the narrative at one side is one of those moments that just feel like projection here. Because throughout this whole video, you have been constantly sucking Nintendo's dick, trying to justify Nintendo having an overpriced console by bringing up arguments for which you have no proof of, or by resorting to throwing ad hominems. Yeah, who is the one forcing a one-sided narrative here?
Right? Don't talk about the games, don't talk about the new tech, don't talk about like all the minor improvements. These guys don't play on Switch anyway, so they wouldn't even know anything about like the QOL improvements and like the general design, right? Like they don't understand what makes this console appealing to people.
Yes, people were positive with the announcements and technical improvements, but that doesn't undermine the problem that people had, which were the prices of the games and accessories. They were too expensive, period. End of discussion.
They really think just by sitting there and going like, I'm not interested in that, I don't want to play that, it's too expensive, that like people will think it's real. That like people will think this is like the general consensus, and like it's downright embarrassing that they've been doing that they came out and tried to do this so hard.
It is the general consensus at a lot of places. It is a real issue that Nintendo has the prices so high. The only embarrassing thing here is you trying to justify this so hard. Like, at some point you have to realize that what you are doing here is not good. Right,
and like considering just the narratives they had going into this, complaining about the price points and like getting basic things wrong, like it's really hard for me to take any of these people seriously. Like, to me, I don't see gamers like, talking about like the new upcoming console. I see opportunists looking to grift, making angry rant videos, making like fishing for attention, for engagement, right? Like, they never had any real interest in supporting this platform or the company that makes it.
Look man, I am a semi-Nintendo fan, so I went into the Direct with an open mind. And after I found out about the prices, I made my video, since it just felt like a punch in the gut. And I made that video to vent my frustrations. I wasn't making that video for engagement or for views or likes. But unfortunately, some Nintendo sheeps like you cannot grasp the simple concept that people are getting upset because of the prices of the console. And that's a damn shame.
Like, again, this is very apparent if you like watch these people for any length of time. It's just like they don't know basic things about the company.
I know that Nintendo likes to overuse the MCAs. Does that count?
And yet they're supposed to be like gaming YouTubers. It's embarrassing. Like it really has been like a complete disaster. But like, I feel as if like this is kind of like the last stand of like the Nintendo hate community, right? Because like they're doing the things they've always done, complaining about the visuals, complaining about the games, complaining about the hardware, complaining about Nintendo's business practices. Like, they're doing the same thing they've always done, but like there's a lot more pushback to this than there used to be.
Do you know why there are still such complaints? Because Nintendo has always been a step behind everyone else. It was that way with the Wii U and the Switch. It's the most common joke people make about Nintendo, that they are always a step behind their competition. And let's not begin with Nintendo's business practices, because that is a topic I could at least make 4 videos on. You cannot even begin to count the times where Nintendo has done some shit. And with the pushback, I would like to see some screenshot evidence, but he doesn't even bother to show his source.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
A lot more. And I know, because I remember when like the Wii U was announced and like it was universally reviled by everyone. Everybody complained about that thing, even though it was by far the best console on the market at the time. Like,
saying that the Wii U was the best console on the market at the time when there was the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, that is just delusion. I'm sorry to say this, but this is just a cope.
I grew up in the Wii and GameCube era, and saw just how people would seethe about Nintendo, right? Like, I know very well just how deep, like, the Nintendo hate, how deeply that's ingrained into the gamer culture. And like, it really does feel like, as of this specific direct, like, it is over, and like, but lots of people are still desperately trying to cling on to it.
And again, it's for a good fucking reason. Okay guys, the rest of the video is not even worth talking about at this point. It's just him rambling about how pathetic all the hate is. So we just get to my final thoughts for this video. At some point, these people have to realize that they are just coping with this, am I right? Trying to justify Nintendo charging 80 to 90 bucks for a Mario Kart game is just batshit insane to me. But I think at some point those people will also snap out of it and also criticize Nintendo for that. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Roll the outro, cause I am out. Hey, welcome to the outro. The names scrolling by are the people who help me behind the scenes. A big thank you to them and a big thank you to you as a viewer as well. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked this video and are excited to see more, go and subscribe. See you all next time. Bye!